Okay, so now it's time to introduce the ski. So this is the tip of the ski, it's the front of the ski. Okay, if you work our way down, we can then see the front of the binding. Okay, here, followed by the back of the binding and the tail of the ski. If I turn the ski around, you have a plastic base on the back of the ski. Okay, hopefully with some wax on this base, the ski glides very nicely on the snow. Now if you look on the side, we have an edge which runs from the top all the way down on both sides of the base of the ski. Okay, this is a metal edge and you're going to find out exactly why it's useful later on in the series.
Right, I'm going to show you how to carry skis properly because it's really, really important. When you go skiing, you don't want to look like a complete amateur, right? You want to look like a pro at least, even if you're not, right? So carrying your skis is the best way to do that. There's only really 2 or 3 ways to carry skis. The main way, if you're walking quite a long way, is to put your skis on your shoulder, okay? The first thing to make sure is that the brakes on the bindings are together. And you can work this out, but if you have it one way or the other, you know, if you have it the wrong way around, the skis could slide off. So just make sure that the brakes are tight and you've got the top brake on top. You'll see it makes sense when you put it on your shoulder, and then lift them up onto your shoulder, hand right at the front of the tip, and make sure the skis are pointing upwards in the air, because if they're like that and you turn around, you'll whack someone. Right? Poles in the other hand, or you can even carry one pole in one hand, another pole in the other hand to help you walk, or both poles to help you walk. And that is how you carry your skis. It's only that way. You don't have the bindings like that. You don't have, you know, on your shoulder. No, the bindings go behind your shoulder, okay? There's no other way. That's it. You could also, if you're walking short distances, just grab the skis with your hand above the binding and sort of walk along with them, putting them down on the floor. Or you can legitimately pick them up with a binding. Again, it has to be the right way around, otherwise it slips off. Pick them up on the bindings like that if you're walking short distances. There are no other ways to carry skis, right? Not carry a ski like that. No. So yeah, you carry a ski like that. That's it.
Or Rob, if you're a park rat, you can carry them like that.
If you're choosing a ski for the first time, try and pick a size which is 20 or 30 centimeters below the top of your head. This will make it much easier to turn and you're going to have a much more pleasant experience. If you try and pick a ski which is for advanced skiers, it's too long, it's too stiff, it's just going to be very difficult to turn. So make sure you pick one which is 20 or 30 centimeters below the top of your head. Okay, now it's time to put the skis on. So to start, we need to find a nice flat area and we need to lay the skis down together, parallel next to each other. So the way the boot is designed is it has a little toe piece and a heel piece, and these have to connect under the front of the binding here and into the back of the binding like that. But before we do that, we need to remove the snow from under the ski boot. We do that by using the ski pole and tapping, or we can tap against our other boot, or we can also use the binding, the front of the binding, and do like this to scrape off the snow. So place the tip of the boot under the front of the binding, gently press the heel piece into the back of the binding, and then when it's all lined up nice and snug, you push down on the back of the boot. Okay, we found a nice flat area, we've put our skis on, and now it's time just to get used to being connected to the ski. We can take off one ski and we can scoot around, or we can try sliding around on a flat area with both skis connected. Okay, so we're now familiar with the feeling of having the skis connected to us. Now it's the time to actually try some basic sliding. So we need to be able to walk up the mountain a little bit and then slide back down. Okay, remember when trying to sidestep up the mountain, it's important to use your edges. If you just try and rush things and walk straight up the mountain with a flat ski, the skis are just going to skid. You end up doing like a Michael Jackson moonwalk and you're not really going to progress very far up the hill. Okay, so once we've reached the top of the slope with our sidestepping, we then need to position ourselves correctly to be able to slide back down the hill. To do this, make sure you use your poles and make some small little steps around. You can support yourself with your poles. When your skis are ready and you're pointing them down the hill, just let go, stand naturally over the ski and enjoy the ride. Okay, a couple of useful tips for when you're sliding down the hill for the first time. Remember to look where you're going, that's really important. Try and keep your skis parallel. Then when you stand on your ski, try not to lean too far forwards or too far back, just try and stand in a natural balanced position. And then where you pick the terrain is really important where you practice this. So make sure the terrain naturally brings you to a stop. And one last thing, it's important to smile when you're doing a sport or an activity which is enjoyable. Something that's extremely likely to happen when you're learning to ski is you're likely to fall over. But when you do fall over, it's important to understand how to get up. Here we can see the skis first of all need to be across the fall line. If you've got the skis tangled up, you need to untangle the skis. Here you can see you position your ski pole in a position which enables you to press against the bottom and the top of the ski pole and to maneuver yourself into a good position which then you're able to stretch with your leg and stand up. It's really important, as you can see with this gear, when you've fallen over and your binding's released, sometimes you find yourself in this position. It's really important, you must push the back of the binding down before you try and step back into the binding.
Hi there, I'm Sam from Altitude Ski School here in Verbier. At the start of this season we're going to do a little bit of talking about getting on and off a chairlift. You may have spent quite a lot of time on the magic carpet or on the T-bar before, but it's really important that you know these tools to get up the mountain or sometimes down off the mountain. First really important one, take your pole straps off, place your poles into one hand. You'll then see there'll be a gate or something like that in front of you. Make sure it's obvious when to go, maybe watch the people in front of you. The gate will then open and then move yourself out, stopping on a line that will probably be there, telling you where to stop, or make sure you're just in a line where the lift will then come to you. Put your hand down onto the lift to feel it, and then move and sit down. Allow the lift to then take you up. There'll then be a safety bar in most resorts. You need to make sure you reach up high, make sure you're tall enough, bring that down and place it and have a nice rest all the way up. So you're now approaching the top of the chairlift. The first thing you need to do is make sure you don't lift your safety bar up too early. Wait for an obvious sign. That could be netting underneath you or a sign on the pylon. The lift will bring you into the landing site, so make sure your feet touch the snow firmly, stand yourself up and give yourself a little push or just allow your skis to slide off down the down ramp.